what's up, Juventus? Welcome to the HAC, your channel dedicated to Juventus. That intro, man. Holy smokes. Lucci, that get you fired up or what?
I'm fired up. Let's do it.
Man, it's almost too much for just like an international break live show here. That one. But big shout out to obviously member of the AJC Army, Sev, for working on the tunes for us and getting that together. All right. And as you guys could see, we're just loading her up here. Kostic deal finally found. All right, so we finally found a move for Kostic. We will talk about that. We'll talk about all the news this past week. There's been some interesting pieces that have come along. Obviously Pogba, the Sciglio goodbye. We'll talk about Locatelli, center back, Alex P, who comes in here saying what's up. He's been firing that one out for a solid year, if not more, okay, on Locatelli as center back. So we'll tackle it all right now. Say what's up to people here in the Army. What do we got? Vincenzo, hey guys. We've got Matteo Camisa, good morning, afternoon from Italy. Enjoy your trip, brother. I know you're over there. Your cousin Trim just coming back today, so safe travels to him. And LJJ, hello Juventini, ciao ciao, Matt. And then John coming in here, give me Juventus, no more international breaks. Yeah, the international breaks. How do you feel about international breaks, Lucci?
I mean, honestly, for us, it was a good time this year, but usually I'm not for it. So, yeah, let's go back to regular Juve ball.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get back to Juve and just get back fit. As I see one of the comments here, we've got the Gonzalez injury, terrified Forza Juve, all right? Lucky it wasn't as bad as it seemed at first. And yeah, that's just it, right? These guys are playing a lot of games, but the question's out there and everyone's always been asking what goes on at Juve with all these injuries and whatnot. But if you look around, look at Real Madrid too. They're just loaded with injuries right now.
Even
Like,
worse, yeah.
we're not the only ones. It sucks. It's something we got to deal with. Do we have enough depth to get through it? Are we going to be relying a little too heavily on some of the young guys? Are we still a little bit too thin up top? We're going to take a look at all of that. But we're going to kick things off with some of the news that happened this past week. So we obviously had a goodbye from Sciglio. Oh, well, a nice PR post from Sciglio on his goodbye. After certain words and after him stating he didn't get a chance at Juve. Well,
Okay.
we know what he was trying to say, right? So obviously we're going to have fun with that and think you didn't have a chance. The man was not available more than a guy that was out for a doping scandal. All right. So he was available less than a guy that got a doping scandal rap last year. Okay. And I know because I won that bet with old Nonies there. And yeah, this whole I didn't get a chance to prove myself is definitely targeted at the new management, the coach, etc. and whatnot. But seriously, man, like, I barely believe this guy's a real human being. And if somebody actually shows up there for Empoli, I'd be surprised. But it's actually funny to hear him say something like that. I had to laugh. Luch.
I mean, he's kidding, right? Like how often, how many injuries did he? I'd love to know the number on how many different injuries he's collected over the. How long was he with us? 7 years, 8 years? I don't know, something like that.
7 years? Wow.
Was it not something along those lines? Let's be realistic now, buddy. Your best is behind you. Time to move on. And yeah, see ya. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
So in terms of injury history, my word. Yeah, it's insane. So going back to even 1920, it's like 17 days, 77 days, 3 days, 39 days, 7 days, 10 days, 10 days, 21 days, 112 days, 7
Jeez.
days, 12 days, 291 days. These are all days missed. 23 days, 8 days, 17 days. The guy doesn't exist. All right.
No.
It's insane.
We paid him for nothing.
My word. All right. So Sciglio, the goodbye. Pogba. So Pogba, if he gets acquitted here, all of a sudden in play, and some of the rumors suggesting that he would be reintegrated. A lot of the fans getting their hopes up, thinking, oh man, now all of a sudden you add Pogba to this list. Lucci, let's start off with your thoughts on this whole Pogba. Let's say what if. Let's say he gets
Okay,
acquitted
what if?
here.
When's the last time he played a competitive match? Over
Well,
a year
before-
ago, at least?
What's that?
Over a year ago, it was his last competitive match?
Well, he played before this thing went down. Like, Udinese was the last game. So what was that?
He was also hurt before that and after. Like, it was just a freaking disaster.
Yeah.
There's no way he's going to be, like, there's no way he's in good shape. There's no way he's, 30, in his 30s now? Like, how is he going to be able to keep going? And we know his injury record as well. Like, it's only a matter of time before he picks up an injury, and then we're having this whole conversation over again. Forget it. Just move on. Cut the ties. I've heard this for far too long now. Just forget it.
Add Pogba, and you have the best midfield in Italy and maybe the world.
They already have the best midfield in Italy anyways without him.
Okay. So we have the best midfield in Italy already as it stands. Is that just on paper, or we need to see it, or you just actually believe this is hands down the best?
On paper, yes. But I do, of course, I want to see it in action. But I think on paper, if you look at the names and the depth, I don't see why not.
Yeah. So the thing with the whole Pogba situation is if he becomes acquitted. So what's his contract? What's his actual contract expiry? We need to see that because Juve doesn't have an out anymore, right? So if this thing went down and he got his penalties and everything and they were going to stand by it and whatnot, then Juve has an out on the contract. As it sits, Paul Pogba is contracted till 2026. So we would have one more season on the books.
Yeah.
So after this season, he would have one more. June 30th, 2026 is when it would end. You can't get out of it financially anymore. Finding a move next summer, maybe in the winter, you could try to go that route. But as a support piece, that's a lot of cake for a support piece. He's 31 years old. It doesn't really fit Giuntoli's salary and wages for the age and how he wants to work things contractually. However, it's kind of out of his hands because it was done before him, and it is what it is. I would definitely see them using it. If Artur got reinstated, like reintegrated to the point where he's on the Champions League list, I find it hard to believe we wouldn't reinstate Paul Pogba.
Okay, but you're going to have these two guys in the reserves making what, like a combined $20 million just sitting there? That's crazy.
Well, Paul Pogba would be an actual support piece used. The Artur thing, I don't really understand. I see something going down probably for the second half of the season come January and find him like a second half of the year loan. Paul Pogba on his wages, you'd have to take in a bunch. And of course, there's the physical injury and how his body's going to hold up. That was there before this doping thing even hit.
Right.
So for me, I'm not going to get my hopes up by any means because I've been there and done that 2 years running with Paul. And it ain't happening. We want to go back to the glory days. But the thing is, it's just, he's not the same guy. So I think regardless, you're going to go right back into square one. I think maybe his body is just not going to be where it needs to be again. And we're probably going to run into that issue. As a support piece, he's definitely above Artur. So if Artur's going to be lingering around doing anything there, well, then Paul's definitely getting in there. He lost his number to Yildiz, though. So, yeah, be interesting. They'll have to find a number. But all eyes on this situation. It's an interesting one. It's not the worst case scenario. It sucks probably financially. It probably would have helped Juve out more losing that. But I don't think they're in a scenario where it's the complete end of the world. And I don't see them pushing him out if they haven't pushed Artur out to the point where it's like you are not getting reinstated. With this reinstatement thing, Kostic. Today, Kostic is finally saying goodbye, all right? It's a loan with option, to Fenerbahce. So he's going to be heading out there. The deal is done. We'll have to deal with him. He's same thing. His contract ends 2026, so we'll have another year after this season. So we'll have to find a home. Hopefully the loan spell goes good. We can find a final move. Kostic deal finally found. Should this guy... Did it surprise you with the Arthur reinstatement over Kostic?
Yes.
Did it surprise anybody in the chat? Did you think Kostic might have had more of an argument to be reintegrated? Do we still feel thin up top in the attack as opposed to the midfield?
I think it's because they just knew it was going to be easier to move Kostic, so they just said, you know what, forget it. We'll move you at any cost. Whereas Artur, it's like, well, we had half an option that never really panned out. So I'm not really surprised if you look at it that way. Kostic is just based financially. It's easier to move than Artur, considering the wages he's on. So,
yeah, both these guys and their wages and whatnot. Kostic seemed like he was going to turn down everything. He did reject everything until the point where Artur came back, got himself on the Champions League list, and with Kostic, it's an absolute no. And they just reinforced the fact that you are not going to be part of this group. And now finally has found an agreement to leave. But up top, we might as well get into these injuries too, because the list, at least it's getting better, right? So you've got Adzic, who should be back for Empoli. You've got Thuram expected to return for Empoli as well. Weah should be there for Empoli as well. Nico Gonzalez, we got pretty fortunate. Took a blow to his left ankle. They were thinking ankle, heel, and it was going to be a while, but he's probably still going to be a doubt for Empoli, but he won't be much long after. Milik, he's looking at Napoli.
What's going on with this guy?
I don't know, but that's also up top, and I'm not sold on one of these other guys playing as a false nine. I think it feels like that's the plan. Also, when Nico Gonzalez substituted Vlahovic in the last game to play up top there, it feels like that's the plan. We might be a little skinny up top in general. But Milik, yeah, he's looking at Napoli. Conceição looking late September around the Genoa match, maybe going into October. So Mbangula's got off to a ripping start.
Yeah.
Okay. Adzic, still very new. We saw a very, very small sample size in the preseason to know exactly how confident we're feeling. There are rumblings he could start against Empoli. Weah, who I thought looked good through the preseason and everything, and even starting things off for us in the season, I thought he looked good. But there's still a lot of the fans that don't have full confidence and feel they just don't feel at ease with banking on him as well. So all of a sudden, do we have enough depth? Are we going to be concerned about injuries throughout? Where do you stand with the attack group? Because the attack group was the major piece that we were all concerned about leading into the end of the Mercado. Then all of a sudden, Gonzalez, Conceição comes in, but now it's like, are we still a little bit thin? Are we going to be banking on young guys a little bit too much? What do you think?
Considering all the work June Toli did in the summer, it's still impressive. Yes, we would like maybe another body or two up there. Even in defense, I think we're a little thin there as well. But yeah, we pick up. If Vlahovic gets injured, we might be in some serious trouble, because I don't like you said, I don't like any of these guys playing, the 9 or the false 9. The only one I would consider would be Weah. If he's fit, I would give him a shot up top just based on his characteristics, his physicality. But even then, we could be in trouble if that's the case.
Man, if I'm looking back at it, and it's tough to say because I still like all the work they did and whatnot, but maybe, just maybe, not finding another 9 could come back and sting us a bit. Milik, I don't know. I don't know with this injury thing, all of a sudden what's taken him so long to get back, but it's something we're gonna have eyes on. With the young guys, we would have banked on them probably a little bit more if you have one less from Conceição and Gonzalez, even though, both when it comes to age are not exactly old by any means, especially Conceição. Felix Afena-Gyan scored a beautiful goal for next gen. Just an absolute rocket there on a volley there. Beautiful goal there. But in attack, yeah, there's going to be some question marks. There's going to be some question. Mbangula, can he keep this up? Can he keep up this thing where he's fighting for a starting spot and being there once everybody's full guns blazing? Louise and Cope Miners are expected to start in the midfield. I would expect Thuram probably gets in there. He should be fit enough and ready to go. That's probably going to be the main midfield, which means that 10 role is going to be occupied by Cope. He should be our number one for the 10 spot. That moves Yildiz over. And then you've got one winger spot to roll with. So are we going to be super thin? Probably not. Are we going to be banking on the young guys a little bit too much as some kind of concerns are floating around there? I don't think so. Once we level things off. And midfield's where we probably have more than enough for depth.
Yeah.
I would say. With Fagioli, with Locatelli, etc. But you brought something up and you talked about the back line is where you feel is still thin. Elaborate on that.
Well, I was just kind of surprised that they decided to let Jallo and Gonzalez leave on loans when you don't. Who's your backup CBs if one of them gets injured? You got Danilo, Rugani's gone as well. If Bremer or Gatti pick up an injury, you're kind of stuck with just Danilo, unless I'm forgetting someone. But that's all. That's center back wise. That's pretty thin for 3 competitions.
Yeah, and Cabal can also play
Yes.
as a center back. We've seen it one game where he switched into it. That's about it. So you'll have those 3. Then you get into the discussion that's been floating around, and I know he's been playing it. Oh, also Kalulu. Great shout out there from Michael Gagliardi there. Kalulu can play as a center back. So that's a little bit of coverage as well. And then you get Locatelli. Locatelli as center back floating around this weekend. He was playing there in training, obviously with the absentees. And I think it's more just because of the absentees. Gatti went to the Azzurri. Cabal went to Colombia. You had Danilo go to Brazil. Everybody's essentially out. Where does everybody stand on Locatelli as a center back? I'm going to put this poll question out there in the chat. I want to get Lucci's thoughts on it and what he thinks about it. But Locatelli as a CB. Luch.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it just because who knows how much game time he's going to get now with, the revamped midfield. I think he could do well, but that's going to be a big adjustment period, especially if you're trying to do it within the season. Like you're asking him to do that when, playing real competition. There's going to be times where he's going to be caught way out of position and it might burn you. Are you willing to take that chance in the middle of the season? I don't know.
I just don't see it. When I look at Locatelli as a CB, I mean, the defensive prowess, yeah, it's there. Speed-wise, I don't know if I'm really feeling it. Aerially, I'm not really sure I feel it. I don't know.
It's a risky call in my opinion, especially if you're trying to do it once the season's already started. They should have started it in the preseason if that was something they actually wanted to do.
Yeah, so Alex P saying letting go of Rugani was a big mistake. Do you think that was an error looking back?
I think out of the 3 that we just mentioned that went out on loan, I think you should have kept at least one of them, personally.
Yeah.
And Rugani would have been the one just based on, him being around the team for so long. The other 2 needed game time, which I understand. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why exactly they felt the need to get rid of all 3, to be honest.
Well, the thing that's interesting is that, all the guys that we're mentioning that could fill in like Cabal, Kalulu, even Danilo, etc., they've all got this versatility thing on their side. So it's like none of them are necessarily masters at the center back role. Right. It's just like they can play here, they could play here, whatnot. It's kind of a discussion to see who feels where they're best suited at. Kalulu did have a solid season for Milan at the center back role. That was the 21-22 season, if I'm not mistaken. But then you're looking at these guys that are kind of like hybrids. They're kind of like mixes in between. No true
Right.
like center back. So maybe Rugani being kept back. And the thing is you also renegotiated the contract and renewed him and brought the wage down. It's a little bit of a strange one, but
Yeah.
maybe in the end, Malta's just like, no, I wouldn't use him. I would go this other route because of how they distribute the ball or something. But if you've come around to a point where you're looking at Locatelli to come in there, I think maybe that's a little bit of a shining light on you might have wanted to keep a true CB there.
I agree.
I just me personally. Because Locatelli, looking at him as a center back, for me, I don't really see it. I don't really see it. In terms of the poll, 60% say no. Well, 59%, 41% say yes to Locatelli as a center back. So majority is not seeing it either when it comes to Loca being as the center back. Michael saying that Loca is a center back only if necessary. Otherwise, no. He could be a very strong player off the bench. I think when it comes to Locatelli, yeah, let's keep him rotating in the midfield. As far as the rotation in the midfield goes, we talked about the 1A, and it was labeled as the perfect midfield that Mota is looking at. Everybody, Thuram, Douglas Luiz, Cope Miners, 1A midfield. Any disagreements out there with that being the 1A midfield? Lucci, is that our 1A midfield, at least on paper, till we see it play out?
I mean, on paper, I would think so. Yeah, I do want to see it. I think they're all they would kind of complement each other. They have different characteristics in all three of them. So on paper, yes, they seem like your best options, but just because it shows that on paper doesn't mean it'll actually work. In the middle of the game, right? So I guess we'll see coming soon, anyways.
Yes, on paper from Soiree, absolutely. DJ Cami V there, and a boom from our brother Rick Owsey there. Listen, okay, and nothing's going to change. I would say on paper that is probably the 1A. For shits and giggles, everybody, does Pogba enter the mix? Let's say he comes back. Let's say he's fit. He could play. Does he become in the 1A list? No. Does Paul Pogba enter the 1A list for you, Lucci? Because some were saying he is easily still, if he shows up, the most talented in the middle of the park.
Okay, but can he stay healthy? And is he better than Coop after you just dropped 59 million?
Well, let's say he's fit. Let's say he's fit. He's ready to go.
I would, I bench option for me. I'm not benching Coop after you just spent all that money on him. You brought him in for a reason. He needs to play. Period.
Yeah, for me, it's again, I'm not gonna have any kind of faith in Paul whatsoever. If he comes back, it'll be interesting. But hey, this is it when it comes to Daniele Bucci here. Yeah. Great competition for spots. Let's see it play out. But on paper, I would agree probably Thuram, Douglas Luiz, who needs to start games and will be starting games now that we get out of this international break. So a little bit of the panic that was there. Why are we not starting him? He will end up starting. Cope Miners, we always said those were going to be the two spots that I expect those guys to lock down. Whether Pogba comes back, whatever, I still expect those two guys on lockdown. Thuram makes a lot of sense. This makes things interesting, because I always said there would be one spot that's really going to be up for grabs for guys that are on the outside of that, looking in. I don't see Weston McKennie grabbing a spot in this midfield, like other than last resort in a rotation or in a pinch. I thought he might have more luck battling on like the right outside for a role. I
was thinking right back, to be honest.
Maybe in the right back, if anything, for Weston. I don't see him being in that fight. When you're talking about Locatelli and Fagioli, if you've got Luiz and Cope Miners on the pitch, Fagioli's not battling for that third spot. Fagioli's battling with one of Luiz or Cope Miners to get in there. That's why I still think Fagioli's going to get healthy minutes, because you're not going to roll Luiz all the time. Like, I just don't see it. Even with Cope, you're not going to roll Cope every single time. I could see those guys end up being your guys in the big ones, and you'll have both of them out there. I think you'll spread it out and switch it up here and there to get some rest for those guys and interchange a bit. Locatelli is going to end up, for me, rotating with Thuram. We saw a lot in the build-up, though, of Thuram and Locatelli sharing the midfield. That's a combination that I like when he goes 4-2-3-1, and I really like what it brings, but it can't sit Luiz in big games. That's the only thing. So the Locatelli Fagioli pivot, that one left a lot to be desired.
Wasn't great.
It wasn't great. So out of the combinations, we still are yet to see, really, from a get-go, Cope Miners, Luiz rocking it with any one of the other guys mixed in there. I would expect one of Thuram or Locatelli. But, hey, it's a great problem to have. I look forward to see it. But, man, that double pivot with Fagioli and Loca was not so good. And you could see all the comments here in the chat firing through that that double pivot wasn't good enough. Loca and Fagioli can't play together. Both very slow. Hot take, Fagioli is so mid. Too soon to be saying that, Lucci?
Oof. I mean,
is that too soon?
It's one not great game. I don't know. I don't know about that.
In terms of hype, because there's a lot of hype around him.
He also, let's not forget, he missed most of the last season. Like, he's still trying to catch up. He missed a year of development and growth and new coach, new kind of, new setup. Give him some time. I'm not throwing in the towel just yet. The skill is there, I think.
Yeah, if we go back, let's forget about last season and you go to the one before, because last season it was like, okay, we're going to get the breakout. This is going to be Fagioli's breakout season. Obviously, we know what ended up happening. But before that, every time he was out there and everything, I would always talk about where he goes on the pitch positionally and what he does and needing more. If he's playing the games the way he's played, even just this short period of time, okay, that one game, and he's playing before the gambling scandal and everything, if he's playing as he was there, it's not going to be enough for him to break through. Like, other than rotational minutes and whatnot, like he's going to be battling for the creative spot, not the holding role. So he's got to bring more from his game. And like, we've seen it. We've seen what he can do, but he does it in small glimpses. So I've always said, like, he's got to take that next step. Now with the competition that's in the midfield, then he's really got to step it up and bring it. I still have faith in the kid. It's so early. No one's going to throw in the towel. I don't think anybody should throw in the towel, but hot take there. You're not alone. There's been many that have been saying Fagioli is mid, and I say too soon. Too soon to make that call.
That missing that entire season definitely did not help his career growth. So give him some time. Give him a few months, half of the season. We'll see where he's at. But I think he's capable of getting better, no doubt.
Yeah, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if you're going to see Luiz and Cope Miners that Malta might lean more towards the 4-1-4-1 setup there rather than go with those two-man pivots. I think it'll be certain games and certain opponents, which is exactly what he did with Bologna last season. He adjusted and he played it accordingly to what he expected from the opponents. I expect the same. So as far as minutes go, I don't think anybody in the midfield needs to be threatened or feel nervous. But Locatelli as a CB, that's a negative from us. Perfect midfield. Yeah, we're kind of on par with that one when it comes to what's listed. Thuram, Luiz, and Cope Miners. We've got an early Storm the Barn in. We're going to tackle it, and I'll tell all of you, you can fire in Storm the Barn questions whenever you want. All right? fire away. And this one's coming in from George, and he's got, what's your prediction for us in the league phase of the Champions League for points and positions? So we have tackled this one on a previous live, but I know where I stand. Lucci, if you want, I can remind you of the opponents, but where do you think we're going to be for points? Obviously, we got a good start. We've got a big week coming out of the international break.
Very busy
because
week.
You're going to have Empoli, and Sciglio is going to be running rampant with his, wanting to prove a point because he didn't get an opportunity.
25th minute. Yeah.
But, oh man, I thought I had still the image. I'll pull it up. I know we got PSV right after Empoli. Then you're going to have Napoli in league play. So that's a tough 3-game span immediately right after that. But in terms of our opponents, it's going to be PSV. You're going to have Leipzig away. Yeah, you're going to have Stuttgart at home. Then you're going to have Lille, and that's away from home. Aston Villa away from home. From home. And then Man City. And then wrapping up with Club Brugge away. And Benfica, I believe, is the last one. So where do we think we're going to end up here? We're for points, Luch?
I know we spoke about it briefly, kind of off air, last week? I think I said around 15, 16 points, more or less around there. And hopefully that's enough for them to do, to get through and do well. But there's some tough matches. Leipzig's, a little underrated. That's a tough team. Obviously, Man City.
Aston Villa away from home is going to be difficult.
Yeah. Aston Villa's not half bad either. And again, who knows what the injury situation is going to be like at this time or that time. So I think they'll be okay. I think most of those games, they should at least pull off a draw. Benfica is another, that could go either way. Benfica's not terrible. You got to win. You got to win the games you're supposed to win, period. That's what it comes down to.
Rick Ozzie coming in here, he's going to be live at the Napoli game. That is going to be a great game to be at, and hopefully we spank them. So, I'm thinking around 16 points, somewhere in that range. 14 to 16, somewhere in there for Juve. Yeah. Of course, if we go higher than that, I think that'd be massive. If you're coming out like higher than 16 points, that'd be really, really strong, considering 24 points is the max, considering opponents. Tricky one away from home at Leipzig there. Away to Aston Villa will be tricky one. Man City at home is going to be difficult. So, if you're coming out higher than 16 points, we did extremely, extremely well. Will that finish? Will we finish in the top 8 in Champions League and avoid the playoff phase? I don't know if that point range is going to do it. I don't think it's going to be far off, though. I think we'll be probably pretty damn close. But more than likely, if I had to guess, probably going to be in the playoff phase to get into that round of 16 is what I would expect with that point total. But I think it'll be tight. It'll be close. Hot take. Vlahovic is the most overrated player in Juve the last 10 years. Wow.
Who can we compare him to? I mean, there was quite a bit of hype for Artur when he joined, so I don't know.
Yeah, he was pretty damn overrated. We spent a lot of money on Kulishevsky. I think that guy was disgustingly overrated. I couldn't understand why we were ready to pick up another, supposed to be a winger. He was labeled as this. I'm like, he's not a winger. He's like a advanced mid.
Oh, De Ligt's a good one too. It's a good show.
De Ligt would be another nominee there. Yep. So it's funny when we talk about De Ligt because I always thought he played his part, like he did well and everything. He wasn't far off the expectations, was he? Did you guys find him way off?
Honestly, all I remember him for was the multiple handballs, like
to start.
So many. Jesus.
I remember that tweet still. It was so many early handballs, and I was like, Here's his new jersey, and I just put up a picture of a straight jacket and put Juve logo on it, and I was like, get this guy in this kit now. But yeah, you could probably say he was had a lot of hype. I mean, look at his career
It's kind of gone
afterwards too.
downhill.
Yeah, I think Bayern sold for less than they sold for less as well than they picked him up from us. So he's just gone down and down, and now he's at Man U, and good luck avoiding the dumpster fire trajectory that comes out of that place.
He spoke bad about Bayern yesterday after the Dutch game. Did you see that?
No, what did he say?
He said, I'm happy for my move to like the Premier League and Man U. That there's more fans and there's more more views about EPL compared to the Bundesliga or something. Like,
yeah, I did read that. It was something along the lines like I still say stay in sight because there's more viewers and all this whatever. And I'm like, man, I don't know if you want more viewers on your game. You got subbed out for friggin' Maguire the last time I saw you.
I don't understand. Like, he left Juve, he spoke badly. He left Bayern, spoke badly of them. Like why? Just play, man.
De Ligt was good. I don't know if I'd say most overrated though. Like, he was pretty damn close. He was pretty damn close to what I expected anyways from him. The start was terrible with the handballs, but I don't know if I'd throw him in there.
Just based on the price, I expected more.
Yeah.
I expected a little better.
Artur's a good one. I think
but
Kulusevski for sure, grossly overrated. I'm trying to think of other pickups we made.
If you're just
that'll be a good one. We'll probably get back to that one, and we'll see if anyone in the chat's throwing out. What's that?
If you're basing it off the price you paid and the wages, Vlahovic might actually be the top of that list. I'm trying to think who else would be there.
Vlahovic is definitely going to be on that list so far. Not if you ask Nonies. He'll tell you that that's not the case, but man, I tell you, Skanga says pay the guy whatever he wants. Not so much for me. Not so much for me. I'm trying to think of also pickups and just looking at guys that we've picked up and most overrated over the past 10 years. Yeah, I don't know. Probably Berna was picked up within 10 years.
Was he not? Berna alone.
He was overrated.
Not
for what we got, for what we expect. We ended up getting a journeyman, like a utility guy, but we didn't.
Sometimes you need those players, man.
Oh, sure, but that's not what he was bought for. He was bought to be the next
Ramsey
10.
Is a good one too.
What's that?
Aaron Ramsey.
Oh God,
that guy couldn't stay fit.
What about who else did we get?
Someone said Chiesa. That's a little harsh.
Ooh, Fede? No.
I don't know about that. I
can't put Chiesa in the most overrated. No. Now, let's keep it rolling. Sorry, best Italy. Well, we got to talk about the Azzurri. That went way better. Way better.
Now they decide to win a game? Like, really?
Man, that was that was something else. It's nice to see them wake up a bit. That was much better in terms of playing. And Tonali made a big difference.
Oh, huge.
Ricci, by the way, I don't know if everyone sees it. Out of context football, a nice little picture there from Ricci from his Instagram post from 2017. And it said, Inter merda sempre, porco Dio. And simply for that alone, he should be on the radar for Juventus as a target, okay? Big fan of the guy now. But no, he put in a good shift with Tonali. So best Italy starting 11 in formation with everyone available. Barella, Tonali, who else in the midfield? Fede to play along with Scamacca up front. I'm going to say right now, I actually like Retegui.
I do like Retegui as well.
Personally.
I wish we went after him, to be honest.
And Fratesi makes it difficult because he makes these runs and he's scored the most goals for Italy in Spalletti's time already. He's on like 5 or 6 goals. It's hilarious.
But then there's games where he doesn't do anything. Like, so, I don't know. I'm not a big fan, to be honest, but maybe it's just me.
Like, I hear you, but the guy, I don't know. But I would definitely have Retegui there. Let's go for the 11. Donnarumma, obviously. I do not like Di Lorenzo cannot play as a third CB. It's either right wing back or nothing if you're going to play 3-5-2.
Nothing. Forget
Yeah.
it. Take him out of this
So
team as soon as possible.
it's done. If he's not playing as an outside, he's got no place there. So what do you do with your 3 center backs? Probably Buongiorno, Bastoni. Buongiorno could go left, Bastoni in the, even if you want him in the heart, I'd probably go Buongiorno in the heart, but they like Bastoni there.
Yeah.
Based on who they have.
But then when Buongiorno came in the other day, he moved to the middle and Bastoni went to the left, I think.
And that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I'd
but
probably
then you
go
got 3
that
lefties.
route.
You're not going to play Calafiori?
Yeah, he's got to be in there.
You're going to play 3 left-footed CBs?
Yep.
Damn. Risky.
No fear, man. You just figure it out. They're pros.
When Scalvini back anytime soon?
I don't know when Scalvini's back.
They could really use him on the right side there, to be honest.
Well, he plays left for Atalanta too. Is he not left-footed?
I thought he was right-footed.
Because he plays on the left. He plays on the left for Atalanta.
Tell me we got 4 left-footed CBs. That's crazy.
Look it up. But I know he plays on the left side. He could still be right-footed and play the left side for Atalanta. That's why I never really worry too much about what foot they are. And at the end of the day, just get the damn job done. But
yeah.
Buongiorno, Bastoni, and Scalvini if available. Otherwise, Calafiori. I'm actually fine with Calafiori, Bastoni, and Buongiorno. DiMarco's got to play as your outside left. He's got to. And that goal was, like, when it comes to shooting, that guy's crazy. Like, that was a hell of a finish.
He's right-footed. Sorry. Scalvini is right-footed.
Is he? And he could play both sides, so there you go. You could do that, but I don't want to sit Calafiori either. But Buongiorno, I'd probably pick over the rest in the heart.
What about Gatti? You got Gatti there. Right-footed.
As outside right,
yeah,
I could deal with it, but I don't know if I'd sit the other guys. He'd be in the mix.
I mean, just to get a righty in there, I would probably sit Buongiorno, to be honest.
So Anton's coming on Donnarumma. We're having a battle here at CB. We haven't even gotten to the middle, but he's got Gatti, Bastoni, Calafiori, Cambiaso, DiMarco.
What are we doing?
Fagioli, Fratesi, Barella, Retegui, and Chiesa. And Italy wins the Nations League. So I've got some definite discrepancies there, but Bastoni, Calafiori, Gatti, I could deal with that. I could deal with that. Scalvini when he comes back, fitting him in there. Cambiaso and DiMarco as your outsides, I'm down with that. Yeah, I'm down with that.
Bellanova off the bench for sure.
In the middle of the park, there's no way Tonali doesn't start. Tonali has to be in the middle of the park for Italy. Barella has to be in there. Then I think you have yourself a discussion for that third spot. And I'd probably, if you're going to put Tonali,
Lucci, but he might deserve a start. Him or Locatelli in that defensive kind of hole.
If you want to move Tonali and have him as a box-to-box with Barella as the other box-to-box, yeah, you're probably going to be looking that route as far as one of those guys. Fagioli can also do it. I'm open as far as that deeper midfielder. I'm open to Fagioli doing it. I'm open to Locatelli doing it. I'm fine there, but Tonali is a must-start. Barella is a must-start. Retegui, for me, gets the nod up top. And, yeah, if Chiesa's there, Chiesa, I'd probably put him there, but I think overall you're going to be ending up watching for a guy like Raspadori to probably be the only real competition as that type of forward, because we know the other guy wants to drift. We know Chiesa wants to drift, wants to come off the left, cut in, etc. There's not a good rapport with him in that second striker role, right? So, but you got to go with him. And Retegui for me is, I'd go Retegui over Scamacca. I know Scamacca was red hot before the injury, but I like Retegui. That ball he fed through to Fratesi as well.
Yeah, that was great.
That was a great ball. So we'll see what they could do. It's nice that they figured it out now after the Euros. and didn't come up with anything close to that play. Now, France has been struggling.
Yeah.
France hasn't been that strong. They were terrible at the Euros too. So it's positive. It's moving in the right direction. So I like that. And I will say this for Spalletti, to actually admit his mistakes. He said, I made some clear mistakes and errors. We got to move forward and whatnot. So at least he's mindful of it. YFG, just for fun and to see what people think, based off our current squad, who is our best player in each position? Goalkeeper, defense, midfield, and attack. Okay, I like this one.
Ooh.
Goalkeeper, best goalkeeper. I'm going to say Di Gregorio is our best goalkeeper. He got best goalkeeper of the league last season. Yeah, Di Gregorio. In defense, who is our best player in defense? Bremer.
Yep.
Not even close. Yep. Who's our best midfielder? Right now, we got to go on paper because we have new guys in there and everything. But who do you think our best midfielder is?
I'd probably have to go with Coop.
Cool. I have a feeling like it's just going to be Luis. I just think the guy is silky. How strong he is on the ball is going to be massive for us. I think as he starts getting regular minutes, like he's really going to elevate everybody, hopefully. But yeah, Cole Miners and Luis there. In the attack, who's our best player in attack? And this is where there'll be a battle.
That's a toss-up. I kind of feel like you just got to say Dusan just based on the goals. I have no idea, to be honest.
Would you
Yildiz
say
has the potential there?
What's
I don't know. Yildiz has the potential, but I got to see it consistently before I give him that title, I think.
Yeah,
I guess you could say the same for Dusan as well. You don't see it consistently either.
Imbangula's been off to a great start. Can he keep it rolling? Is he our best?
I don't know.
Has Dusan done enough to be our best right now? On paper, Dusan's got to be our best, but is he? By season's end, Michael says, Di Gregorio, Bremer, Cope, and Dusan.
I could agree with that.
By season's end. Right now, we've got Locatelli right now in the midfield from Anton, and Imbangula, Bremer, Di Gregorio. Recent performances, I don't know if I'd put Dusan as the best forward based on recent performances.
That's fair.
I would go as far to argue before he got injured, I think Weah would probably be our best forward before he got injured.
That's kind of sad.
Hey, man. That's actually good if a guy that none of us expected to do that was doing that. Hey, I'll take it. But he was ripping really, really good and spreading out the field and taking his guys on 1v1, creating a lot for us. He was in the mix at that point. Now, after this injury, when he comes back, how are his minutes going to suffer with the additions we made? All that's going to remain. Nice thing about Weah, he could play left or right. But Weah was doing really, really good. So we'll see. The attack seems to be up in the air.
Yeah.
They had this on the bow. They had their little admin rocking this. Their worst haircut in the team. Lucci's got the worst too.
For me?
Gatti was getting a bunch of shouts. I'm like, man, he's got like this standard.
I think that's just because he's balding though, and you can't let it go, so it's a little off. It's, you know what? I love Turan, but I don't know how he plays with all that hair, man, flopping around. That would drive me nuts.
Oh man, that can't be the worst. Dušan's rocks some of the worst I've seen when he's got some
bad ones, but he changes it every week.
When it's turning into a fro there, the curly fro, that's pretty bad. I don't really like that one.
McKenny's too is kind of whatever.
Who?
McKenny?
McKenny's all right. Dušan's was really bad until he changed it now, so I'm sure he'll change it again in a week, but he probably would have the vote there. What do you think of Cope Miners filling in as striker? No.
Not for me.
Not for me. I got to say, that's almost a hard no. Like, just No. And this is going back to what we were saying about the attack. Like, I don't really know, man. Like, it feels like we're gonna get stung, I think. When Vlahovic needs a rest or he's off. God forbid, knock on wood, he doesn't get hurt. Because I think we're maybe going to be in tight there and suffer. We saw Gonzalez for how many minutes against Roma there?
I don't think he touched the ball.
Yeah, like it's a significant change because you really do lose that target.
Like I said, I'd like to see Weah get a shot up there. Just based on his traits and his pace, I think he could cause some damage. That's who I would try anyways.
Weah up there, hey? I don't know, man. I don't know. We do have to talk about some other stuff here, some fun stuff. We're going to pull this up and take a peek here at what we got. I'll probably have to get... oh, no, yeah, you're in here. I thought we'd have to set this up. What do you think of this set, Lucci?
I mean, it's not my favorite. I would... honestly,
Chat, you guys digging this? Did anybody pick any of these up?
I'd maybe go for the quarter zip jacket. The other two, not meh. Kind of mid.
I don't understand why they had to go with this. Like, all I could think about is like Hot Tub Time Machine when they go back to that ski resort and everything, and it's like you get these neon colors, and I'm thinking 90s ski lodge. You go the kit is actually kind of cool. It's all right but then again, when you see the stripes that run the whole sleeve and they're different colors on both sides, I don't know, man. I'm like a 5 or a 6 out of 10 on this set.
Yeah,
it seems to be like this is Alex P's dropping a 6 out of 10. Rick, it's rubbish, 5 out of 10. So it's okay. If I had to pick one, I'd probably say it's between the kits, the training top, or the long sleeve actual kit thing. It's kind of cool what they did with the trefoil logo, switching sides on them across the designs. That's about it. I'm going to be waiting for the original apparel, Lifestyles apparel that's coming out for this set. That's going to be white with the black accents. If they did this set and kept it with the gold accents, it would have been awesome.
Much nicer, for sure.
It would have been sick. And I would have been like, oh, man, I'm all for it. The neon color scheme out of nowhere, I don't really understand it. But if they rocked it with the silver or the gold, oh, yeah, I'm all for it. But the white training stuff, and I was trying to see if I still had the images and everything. I had... Well, I think now they're at leaks, but I had the original ones looking through some promo material and stuff, and it looks really nice when we're talking about that. So as far as kits go, as when I shared with everybody the details on what 3 kits we were going to be getting, I said that third one, okay, the third one that we rocked this year had the potential to be an all-timer.
Yeah.
Is it better than the 15-16 third black and gold kit with the famous Man City slide celly?
For me, yes.
Better than that one?
Yeah.
I would have to agree. I would have to agree. It's better than that one. Is it in the best of all time for you?
It's got to be top 3.
It's in your top 3 for you personally?
Yeah, I think so.
What other 2 kits do you have up there with this season's third?
I don't remember what year it was, but the black, I think it was the away one, the black with white accents on it.
2012-13, yeah.
That
had the 3
right.
stars, Sul Campo underneath it.
Yes, that one, and the yellow and blue Sony. With the sponsor. That was
95-96, the Champions League.
95-96, yeah. Those would be my top 3, I would think.
And speaking of 95-96 Champions League kit, that is our next giveaway kit. So 95-96 Champions League winning kit with none other than himself, Del Piero, on the back. That is our next giveaway, all right? That one's going to be fired up here probably later on this week. And then it'll run for a couple weeks, get everybody a shot, and that's going to be the next giveaway. As far as my kits go, and Alex P, you ain't getting any kits? Yeah. Juve's got to sort it out, man. It's been a nightmare. Dude, unbelievable. So I ordered this thing. This order was early August, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I got the notification. It was like, oh, UPS is on the way. I'm thinking, oh, great. This was like September. I was waiting so long, and I'm like, okay, this is great. They'll be here soon. No, UPS was not on the way. Okay? They were not on the way. Made the purchase like August 2nd. They didn't get it. Juve didn't get it to UPS until September 2nd. That's like
later.
a month to get it to UPS. UPS, it's just frozen there. They're not shipping it. I get a hold of UPS. I'm like, what is happening? And they're like, oh, we need an invoice. I'm like, you need an invoice? And they're like, yeah, to ship it. We need something for customs. I'm like, why are you reaching out to me? I was like, why would you not reach out to the seller? Why did you? And
Right.
they're like, we haven't heard anything back. I've emailed before I even spoke to UPS, like middle of August. Juve, no response. You try calling them, try getting them on the horn, no response. Like, it just, I can't get through. I've left multiple emails. UPS has tried to reach out to them, and I'm like,
That's
even
crazy.
looking at these guys, like, send it back to them. Get it sorted out. What are you just doing hanging on? It's painful. Like, painful. So I've got kits just sitting there, stuck, and I can't get through to anybody. So I called out, I tweeted out, and I called out Juve, Fanatics, UPS, the whole lot. They all get one of these for this. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. You label your email address customer care and just never get back to anybody. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. So I sent the information I did have. Juve didn't even send me a confirmation email, like for the sale, like that I could send to UPS. I'm like, they give you nothing. You log into your account and they just show you this stupid write-up of what you purchased and what your order number is. I sent that to UPS and they're like, yeah, that's not good enough. And I'm like, I know it's not good enough, but that's all I have. That's all they've given me. So reach out to them. But for all these guys, massive day. Massive day. Okay?
It's a disaster.
It's a mess, man. Imagine waiting that long. Imagine waiting that long. Now, I've spoken to others, and people have been reaching out through like Twitter and whatnot, and saying that they've also been waiting like 3 weeks. I don't know, but it's not promising when UPS is asking me for documentation that they should have. For God's sakes. Prediction for Italy, Israel tomorrow. I know Lucci's got to go in about 5 minutes here. What's your prediction for the Azzurri tomorrow?
I will say 2-0 the Azzurri. Should win this one rather easily, I would hope.
2-0?
Yeah. I don't see them scoring more than 2.
Probably
You think
get
they
some
score 3
rotation
back-to-back
in there.
games? I don't have that much confidence yet. After what they did to me in the Euros, I don't have that kind of confidence right now.
2-0 is a good scoreline. I'll throw 3 on a late flyer from a sub.
Okay.
I'll go 3-0. I'll go 3-0.
I respect that.
Do the authentic kits still fit about a size down? Well, I had the fan versions. And I'm waiting for authentics that are ordered. So usually the authentics though, they're like not a full size down, but like kind of like a half size down. But I don't know if it's the same this year. Rabiot is still unemployed. Matt. Oh man, where does our mama's boy finally end up, and how much less will he be paid than what we were offering him? I can't believe, like, okay, so speaking of international break, Deschamps, if you saw what Deschamps said, he almost ridiculed Rabiot. Like, it's like the situation is wild. He's like, it's wild, you know? He sat himself out due to demands and everything like that. He's not going to get picked up probably for France until he gets his shit together and plays somewhere.
Yep.
I don't know who's going to pick him up. There was a lot of rumblings about Milan, and everyone's piecing together this puzzle with Allegri. I do still believe Fonseca gets fired at Milan sooner rather than later. And I don't know where he's going to end up, everybody, but he's definitely not going to get the money that he was holding out for. Is it going to be less than what we paid him? I think so.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Is he willing to just... Is he going to just quit? Like, what's going on here? I don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
he
made
had
that much
teams
money
interested.
that he can just
He
quit?
just was unwilling to give up this wage thing. Like, Alex saying this might be it for Rabiot. Next stop, Saudi? Like,
Maybe.
Saudi and done?
I can see
it?
that.
Yeah,
That's where he'll get his money, right?
It's wild to me, man. It's wild to me that he took it to that extent. And it really goes to show you, like,
Petty.
if I'm looking at the Rabiot situation, I'm looking like, is this his ambition?
Zero
Was his ambition the entire time solely money? And
Seems
if that's
that way.
the case, good riddance. Good riddance if that's the case, where your main ambition is solely money, to the point where you sat yourself down and are now not even contributing to your national squad. Like, it's wild to me. Good on him and his mom. Have fun, man. Have fun.
See ya.
We're set, though, and I'm jacked to see this new midfield rocking and get fired up. We need to get Luis in there. I'm pumped for that. Like I said, outside the international break, we're going to have a lot going on. Empoli, PSV, at-home Champions League, and then Napoli. Napoli, people are still talking about Napoli so much, and I don't see it, man. I don't see it. Think they're going to be... What are you expecting coming out of the international break? Let's say those 3 games. We know where we're going to stand injury-wise, who should be back and everything. Adzic might end up having to start, but like Weah's going to be back. Thuram's going to be back. That's probably it for the Empoli match. Then you'll have PSV, and then you're going to have Napoli. What do you think is going to happen in those 3 games outside the international break?
I mean, I'm seeing anyways 2 wins and a draw, maybe. If we can somehow manage 3 out of 3, that'd be incredible. But I don't know. I think that Napoli game will end up being a draw and 2 wins to 2 Empoli and PSV wins. I hope.
Yeah, because Empoli, I'll expect victory. Has to kind of be a victory for us to keep that pace there. PSV, so they've changed the Empoli game to now the Saturday.
Correct.
And I believe the PSV will be the Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday, not Wednesday?
I believe it's Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
So I could pull it up here. We'll just take a look to make 100% sure here. I thought it was Tuesday, and that's why they moved that game to...
you might be right.
So 14th, the Saturday is going to be Empoli, and then Juve is going to face PSV on the 17th, Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then Napoli is going to be...
I think it's the following Saturday, isn't it?
Saturday. Yeah. Yep. So in a stretch of 7 days, 3 games.
You rest some guys from Empoli, I guess. You need a full squad for PSV, at least to start. And hopefully you have everyone ready to go for Napoli. Easier said than done, of course.
It's a tricky 7 days.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a tricky 7 days. Who did Empoli upset? Like
Roma,
where are they at?
It?
So they drew Bologna 1-1, I'm pretty sure. That was was that their last game out? Yeah, 1-1 draw. They beat Roma 2-1.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, so they beat Roma 2-1 and kind of caught them off guard. Yeah, it'll be tricky, man. Beat Catanzaro in Coppa Italia to start the season, August 10th, with a 4-1 win. They drew Monza, beat Roma, and drew Bologna.
It's not bad. Not bad start for
That's
them.
not a
They'll need
bad
those
start
points.
for Empoli, man. Yeah, we can't
Yeah.
be looking past them. That's for sure. We're going to have to be up for that one. That's
Yeah.
that's a tricky week of football. I think if you come away unbeaten, that's
A
a
huge,
big plus.
huge, absolutely.
Yeah, so 2 wins, a draw would probably be ideal. Obviously, 3 wins, we'll fire for it, but not easy by
No.
any means. By any means. Yeah, everyone, same thing. Tricky week.
Yeah.
Real gauntlet will be after the winter break. Crazy schedule. We should pull that up and just take a quick look at that. Lucci, if you got a roll, though, it's okay. You
I
can
will
roll.
if that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll rock the rest and some more Storm the Barn solo. We will pull up the crazy schedule after the winter break. Lucci, always a pleasure, brother. Take
Ciao,
care.
everyone. Thanks.
Everybody, say peace out to Lucci.
Enjoy your day. Enjoy your Sunday.
Yes, you too, brother.
Later.
Take care.
Bye.
Now we'll get to solo, rockin' solo now. So, gauntlet, winter break. Let's take a look after this winter break. Milan, November 23rd. No, that's not going to be... If that's a winter break you're talking, because there's a break there from the 9th to the 23rd, it's going to be Milan, Aston Villa, Lecce, Bologna, Man City, and then Venezia, Monza, Fiorentina. That's tricky. In the new year, Atalanta, Torino, Milan. So January's going to be a filthy month. January is the filthy month. Atalanta, Torino, Milan, Club Brugge, Napoli, Benfica. The month of January is going to be a test. But you know what? That's the time to have a month like that. Halfway through the season, more than enough time for Mota and the lads to kind of get it together. So that is tough, though. That's tough. February, we'll see Empoli, Como, Inter, Cagliari. March, Hellas, Atalanta, Fiorentina, Genoa. April, Roma, Lecce, Parma, Monza. Spread out very good afterwards. May, Bologna, Lazio, Udinese, Venezia. But the way it works out, January is 6 difficult fixtures. And Supercopa. So Supercopa is going to have to be factored in as well. And I'm not sure if it is. Yeah, do they do it in January now? Who can confirm that in the chat? Supercopa. I'll pull it up here too. Let's take a look. Supercopa. They're not giving dates though. I can't find actual dates. January 3rd. January 3rd. They've got. So that's actually before our first game against Atalanta right now, according to this schedule, because we play Atalanta on January 5th. So they're saying that the semis in Supercopa are January 3rd. That's very, very tight. They'll definitely have to alter that schedule and work on that because you can't have these games 2 days apart. That's unbelievable. But that January, wow. Now, let's get to some more Storm the Barn. Let's see what we got here. Suarez saying Rabiot to AJC. Who would be replaced? Oh my God. Are we pulling in Rabiot to the AJC? What would he bring? God. I tell you right now, we ain't paying him what he wants. That's for damn sure. I don't think he's going to take anybody out. Nah. We'll keep the lads. Lucci is gone. Lucci's gone. Lucci had to roll. But everybody, we're going to fly through the news one more time. If you guys got Storm the Barn, fire through. Okay, we're just going to take another quick peek at the news. Pogba waiting for the outcome of the appeal against his lengthy ban. Juve is also waiting for the ruling. If this appeal is unsuccessful, it is certain that Juve will terminate the Frenchman's contract. However, if the ban is lifted, Paul could be reinstated into the Bianconeri squad. The ban being lifted is unlikely at this moment, but is a possibility. Man, that's going to be very, very interesting if that ends up going down. Unbelievable. Pogba 7 times the charm, hey? Pogba. That's all we've said is Pogba. Thoughts on Jonathan David to Juve? So we do have to talk about this, as Jonathan David has been linked with Juve and actually has been linked with Giuntoli for quite some time. Giuntoli is eyeing him up on a free at the end of this season. Inter is also one of many clubs eyeing up Jonathan David. So obviously you guys know I'm in Canada. Jonathan David plays for the Canadian national team. I would love nothing more than to have a Canadian on Juventus at some point. But I'm not huge on Jonathan David. I find him clunky as a player, but on a free with a good salary, I'm definitely not opposed to it. I'm just not crazy about Jonathan David. I'm not crazy about it. I think he's a very good option and definitely should be kept in amongst the ranks and looked at. But I'm not going crazy for Jonathan David to Juve. As a free, though, should definitely be considered in the mix. Remember how crazy I was going for Marcus Thuram when he was on the free? And how I was like saying, Juve, go get Marcus Thuram? I'm not at that level with Jonathan David. Okay? But he should definitely be considered in the mix. Have we looked at free agents right now in football and where they're at? I guess we should talk about Depay out of nowhere. So we were talking about Depay. He ends up going to Corinthians. I think he's getting 12 million over 2 years. So he's going there. He's getting 12 mil over 2 years. And I believe the other name that was in the mix was like Martial. That could be options. Martial also signed. And I can't remember where Martial actually went. I'm trying to pull it up right now. I believe Martial went somewhere. I think he ended up somewhere in... did he go somewhere in Turkey? I'm trying to see. So 2025 contracts ending. Salah. Salah has also been loose rumors with Juve. I don't know if Juve is going to go that route on a 32-year-old Salah, okay? But these are your guys on expiring contracts. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Leroy Sané, Mohamed Salah, Jonathan David, Alphonso Davies, Joshua Kimmich, 29 years old, Kevin De Bruyne, Son, Jonathan Tah, Virgil van Dijk, Neymar, Messi, Zambo Anguissa. Those are the early ones. Cherki, Ryan Cherki, tough named, but he from Lyon was linked with Juve 2 years ago. He's going on a free. Anel Gomez from Lille on a free. Denzel Dumfries, Calvert-Lewin, Kyle Walker-Peters, Dybala's final contract year. This is some of the list of expiring players. Harry Maguire, Thomas Partey, Marco Verratti, 31 years old, market value 18 million. Covered in the midfield. It'd be forwards and it's pretty skinny. Jonathan David easily up at the top of the list for attacking options. So there is that when you're looking at free. And again, factoring in we spent how much money? 162.8 million this season. Yeah, you're going to be looking at free agencies. We're not going to be able to spend. So free guys are going to have to be looked at. But that's a list of guys out there right now. Depay ended up going to Corinthians. I'm trying to see where Martial. I forgot. I got thrown off track by that list. So Martial, let's see where he ended up going. Did he end up going to Antio Martial offered? Oh, he hasn't finalized anywhere. Flamengo, that was it. So a couple days ago, it was Flamengo looking to wrap the deal up for Martial, but it's not done. It's not done. So he's still up for grabs. Some fans were throwing his name out there. I don't know how you guys feel about Martial. I'm not really crazy about him. Okay. Opa saying Salah goes to Egypt, pretty sure. Alex P. Son. Yeah. Son's out there. Son's out there. Salah to Saudi, probably. Cherki would be potential. That's right. Dybala easily. Dybala back on a free. Oh, man. It'll be interesting. But for youth, for a younger guy and where we're trying to go, Jonathan David does make sense. Like I said, for me, I just don't go crazy for him. I don't go crazy for him, everybody. We'll keep going in the news. There's another name. Juntoli has a new name on his list of defensive targets. David Hanko, 26-year-old left-footed center back for Slovakia and Feyenoord. He can also play at fullback. So again, looking at versatile guys. He is valued highly by his club, but relations between Juve and the Dutch club are good after the Facundo Gonzalez move. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with David Hanko and his game. Add him to the list. Nico Gonzalez, available to play for Argentina. So he is pretty much cleared from that blow. That would probably make him not a doubt for Empoli, but he's still listed as a doubt for the Empoli match for Juventus. Now, Filip Kostic. That one's done. Small correction on the figure. The loan with right of redemption will be around 6 million. Originally stated it was going to be 4 million. Salary will be covered entirely by the Turkish club. So that's the big one out of that, is getting rid of these the salaries. And it sucked we couldn't do it with Artur. He is reintegrated into the lineup sheet. But again, I don't expect much to be there. He'd be like a last resort. And in other news, 13 years ago today was the inauguration of J Stadium. Allianz Stadium, known as now. That stadium, remember the opening, just that opening season at that stadium and how unreal that was? That was crazy. Like, one of the most epic seasons ever. And it was in the inaugurational year for Allianz. Incredible. Incredible. Marquisio, what was that opening game? What was that scoreline? It was just a thrashing in the first home game at that stadium. Unreal. Unreal. And I don't know how many of you have been to the stadium, been fortunate enough to check out a game there. That's right, 4-1 Parma. It was Parma. And so Marquisio got on the score sheet. It was Lichtsteiner. Lichtsteiner, I remember, he scored in that game. Who are the other two goal scorers? Did Marquisio get a brace? He got one, I think. One from him, one from Lichtsteiner. Pepe. Who else? Was it Vidal? Pepe and Vidal? Man, that was unreal. That was unreal. That kit, though, that season, I always said that home kit, I didn't like the kits that season. I didn't like the pink one. That ended up being Del Piero's final one. But the home kit, I didn't like it at all. Now, I love it because of the memories. But man, it's... and Del Piero wasn't getting a whole ton of minutes. That was his final farewell season and everything. But man, did he ever get some clutch ones. Remember the free kick? Pirlo complaining about the wall to the official, and Del Piero just runs in and smacks the thing. Holy smokes. Catches the keeper right off. Flat-footed, just sleeping there. That was awesome. That was awesome. That pink kit, oh man, again, sentimental, but I hated the kits that season. Everybody hated them. Vidal half volley from the 18, I think. Yeah, there we go. That one comes back now. Amazing memories. But as far as the stadium and getting there, if you haven't had a chance, oh my God, do whatever you can to get over there. It's crazy. Rick Owsey saying he always gets so emotional when I'm there. I suffered the same thing. I was only there one time. That was for the Juve Milan match 2018. That was the famous Bonucci return, celebrating with the Milan corners there. But for me, it was crazy to think going there. Obviously, all the emotions, walking out just from the main concourse out there, seeing the pitch and everything, and being so close to all these guys. And Buffon was still around. Obviously, Dybala was there. It was a great game. We won 3-1. Getting to mix it up with all the people too. That's what led to the All Juve cast. And yeah, the stadium tour, the museum, going through that and speaking with fans from all over the world, wanted to keep it going. And that's the origin of the All Juve cast. How's the knee? So yes, dislocated my knee 2 weeks ago. Doctor believes I have a partial ACL tear, but I have to wait for it to become a little bit more mobile. I have to wait for the swelling to go down a little bit more before we can start physio. And then obviously images have been booked. There's a long wait for MRIs here where I live, unfortunately. So just going through the recovery best I can. I'll probably in a week's time start with physio, and I think they'll have a good indication of what's going on once they start putting me through some tests and the ringers. Black Mamba saying, went last year and cried when I got there. I get it, man. There's a lot of emotions, a lot of memories. It's intense. You can't even really capture it in words what goes through your mind and what it means. And Juve means a lot of different things to a lot of different fans, right? For me, it immediately is one of the main things my father and I have connected over, like, throughout life. It's just always been Juventus is the one thing that we are always on the same page on and can connect through. And immediately I was wishing he would, of course, have been there with me. Club World Cup coming up this summer. I would like to get my father over to some of those games. We'll see how that works out. Jeff with the next one up to a knee. I dislocated it in a football match. Not this past week, the week prior. Yeah, stupid. Just 50-50 challenge. Come out of it. Go to turn a corner, and the second my right foot planted, my knee just completely dislocated. Sucks. Absolutely sucks. AJCL, yeah. Oh, man. And I don't even know what's better. I'm hearing so much news there. Well, the swelling isn't too bad. I've been able to bear weight even since the day after and everything, but everybody's saying that none of it matters with the knee. You could still have a completely torn ACL, so who knows? We just got to wait and go through it. Muser, bring him over, Alberto. We're going to have a blast. Oh, yeah, we'll try and get Gio over there, and I got to get him involved in more content and everything. Swarit saying it's the Fede curse. By the way, to Muser, hope you guys all enjoyed the new intro to the show today and everything. And obviously Sev coming up with the tunes for that one for us. So nice and awesome that we can do things like that and actually bring a member, AJC member like that in the Army. Sev's been a long-time supporter before even joining the Army and everything. Being able to collab and have you guys contribute, I absolutely love it. So any contributions that you guys want to make or help out with, or ideas even, fire away. We love it. We love it. For Rick, Juve means my youth, love, passion, and family. Absolutely love it. A fantastic crew out there too. The Juventus official fan club, Melbourne, Gigi Buffon. Fantastic. We have amazing fan clubs all over the world. I know we've got Max out there at Serbia. We've got a ton out here in North America, always growing. Montreal is finally active and rolling. We've got Windsor just popping up here, so a lot going on. I think they're trying to hit up Philly as well. Again, just keeps growing and growing. I believe they passed the 20 mark for North America, but it just keeps growing and growing. So fantastic stuff. And Rick coming in here, gifting 5 memberships. All right. So huge shout out to Rick. Absolute legend. I think last year was responsible for giving out like 30. But another just reminder. Oh, this is your next giveaway, everybody. Right here. Okay? Right here. And of course, the man is there. This is what's up for grabs. This is your next one. 95-96 away kit for Juve with Del Piero on the back. So that is the next one in play, all right? So good luck, everybody. And that'll be coming out later on this week in the giveaway, and we'll have all the details on how you can potentially win that. But again, big shout out for these memberships given out. Reminder to everybody that is a member, I put out the post to get you into the private WhatsApp group chat. That's with all the other members. That's with the team here at the AJC. We'd love to hear from you. We just have a lot of fun in there talking all things football and just covering Juve, and also just life in general, and just having a lot of fun getting to know everyone in the community. All right. It's great. It's pretty intimate because I think there's about 35, 40 in there, but it's perfect. The bigger, the better. Just reach out if you want to get plugged in there. We'd love to have you. Again, going to take one last scan on any news. I don't think there's anything else going in there. The big news is, when is Alberto going to get his kits? When am I going to get my kits? Juve store, you got to figure it out. So far, Fanatics dropping the ball. As far as the international break goes, the Azzurri will take on Israel, and then they'll wrap things up with Belgium. So, again, we usually keep a closer eye on the Azzurri. We're expecting some Juve guys to get some minutes there. Fagioli, Gatti should end up getting some minutes in the next 2 games. Israel, I'd probably expect Gatti to see him in there. I'd probably even say Fagioli gets minutes there. Against Belgium, I'd probably expect Spalletti to go back closer to what we just saw against France. But of course, time will tell, and we will see. Rick, you're an absolute gem. The Green Bay Packers, oh my God. Playing in that pitch in Brazil, Jesus, that takes me back to our Europa potato field match there. Those pitches there in Brazil are not made for those large American football players ripping it up. They just destroyed that thing. So Green Bay Eagles in Sao Paulo, crazy. Is Belgium? Oh, sorry, you might be right. Belgium's actually going to be next month. I might have got that wrong. So Israel wrapped things up. I thought they were going to play 3 before shutting it down. But you might be right there. September 9th. And then October. Yes, you're absolutely right. Oh, man, the potato fields. The potato fields in Europa. That's a bad memory. Bad memory. God. We had everything set up to win that thing, too. Everything was set up to win. Tampa Bay Bucks. Holy. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I remember back in the day when they got Warren Sapp, and they used to have a fullback. He was just a monster. Mike Allstott. That's about the days of Tampa Bay where I remember them being really tough. But yeah, we'll see. Congrats to Italy, Germany, and Albania. Oh, man, Germany. Thoughts go out to AJC member there, Norby, who's obviously supports Hungary and whatnot. Germany was just on yesterday. They played incredible. Wow. But, hey, we'll see. So, recap, Kostic, gone. All right. Heading to Fenerbahce. Now we got more fans for Mourinho. All right, but Kostic gone. As far as the injury list goes, not too bad. Conceição, the only real long-term one. We are expected to get Adzic, Weah, and Thuram all back. Tricky week coming up after the international break. I'm going to be here. You'll get the news updates for the rest of the week, and then going to give you the match day live, and of course, a watch-along for Empoli. De Sciglio's revenge. He's going to try and prove himself. Are we scared? No, but we shouldn't look past Empoli because they've had a decent start to the season. It could be a tricky one. And then PSV, our return to Champions League. Time to start getting the memories on those magical Champions League nights back. So pumped to have us back in Champions League. You guys have a great finish to your weekend. Like I said, I'll be back with the update videos leading into the return to action. International break can end tomorrow, and I'd be happy. Bring me Juve. Take care, everybody. As always, until next time, fino alla fine. Forza Juventus. Ciao tutti.
Yeah.